Hello guys, hello. We are here to do story time. And I have my beautiful Izzy with me today. My Isabella. And today we're reading another chapter of Peter Pan. This one is called The Mermaid's Lagoon. The next day, Peter measured hollow trees for Wendy. John and Michael, they would need their own trees to enter and exit the underground home. Soon they were able to go up and down the light buckets as in a well. The underground home was a marvelous place. It was one giant room. During the day, the floor was anything you wanted to make it. The Lost Boys and Michael and John used it for play. There were mushrooms to sit on. There were mushrooms to sit on and a crackling fire. If you wanted, you could dig a hole in the floor and go fishing. Wendy was much too busy, of course, but she was the mother and did not have time for such things. She had to cook and clean, and at night she mended everyone's socks. There was just one bed for the boys, and who slept side by side like sardines in a can. Michael slept in a hanging basket because he was the baby. Tinker Bell lived in a little room of her own that she closed at night with a curtain. As time passed, Wendy and her brothers thought less and less about their mother and father. Sometimes Michael believed Wendy was his real mother. Wendy was not too concerned because she was sure that her parents had left the window open so she and John and Michael could fly home when the time came. In the meantime, there were adventures to be had. Adventures was what Neverland was all about. It had Indians and lions and tigers and bears and pirates and mermaids and much more. The difficulty was which adventure to choose. The adventure that usually one took place in the Mermaid's Lagoon. The lagoon is a lovely place of many colors where mermaids sing and play and bask on a rock in the sun. The children spent many long summer days on this lagoon, swimming and floating and playing where the mermaids. Wendy enjoyed sitting on a rock watching them as she stitched to pass the time. Sometimes mermaids deliberately splashed water on her because they didn't really like her very much. They treated the boys the same way, though they got along well with Peter. On sunny days after a rain, dozens of mermaids came to the surface of the lagoon to play with their bubbles. They hit them back and forth with their tails, trying to keep them in the rainbow until they burst. If the children tried to join them, the mermaids quickly disappeared beneath the water. Excuse me. One day, the boys were dozing on the Mooner's Rock. Wendy stitched as she watched over them. Like a mother, suddenly a strange shadow came over the lagoon. The air turned from warm to cold. The lagoon was no longer a friendly place, but instead was filled with dangers. Wendy knew the story of the Mooner's Rock. It was named that by evil captains who abandoned sailors there. They would drown them when the rising tide covered them. Wendy shivered. She thought to wake the children, but thought again and left them sleep. She did not want to interrupt their nap. The sound of a muffled rowing reached her ears. Peter heard it, too. Woke up as fast as a sleeping dog that smells danger. He put his hand over his ear, or to his ear, excuse me. And listened. Pirates, he cried. The sleeping boys woke with a start. Die, Peter shouted. Wendy and the boys obeyed at once. They tumbled into the water like fish poured from a barrel. In a moment, Marina's Rock was as bare as stone in the midst of a calm green sea. The pirates' ship approached the rock, and Smee and Starkey pulled the oars in back. Was the Indian princess, Tiger Lily. She was bound hand and foot, though she knew her fate. Her face was calm. She would be left on the rock to perish. She had been captured, trying to board Hook's pirate ship with a knife in her mouth. Now she would die a death unfit for the daughter of an Indian chief. Smee and Starkey did not see the rock in the gloom until the small boat crashed headlong into it. It took less than a minute to put their captive on the barren rock because her pride would not let her resist. Nearby, but out of sight, Peter and Wendy watched in horror, their heads bobbling slightly in the water. Wendy began to cry, and because she had never seen a tragedy, Peter was angry because there were two pirates against one princess. He decided to save Tiger Lily. It would be too easy to wait for the pirates to leave. He had another plan. "Ahoy there, you lubbers," he called, imitating Captain Hook's gruff voice. "It's our captain," Smee said with surprise. "He is swimming to meet us," Starkey said. "We're putting Tiger Lily on the rock," Smee cried out. "Set her free," Peter shouted, still using the pirate's captain's voice. "Cut her bonds at once." The pirates shuddered. They dared not disobey. They knew the punishment they would get if they did. "Aye, aye, Captain," Smee said quickly. Cutting Tiger Lily's bonds, she slipped straight into the water like an eel. Wendy was delighted with Peter's cleverness. Before he could say a word, Hook's voice boomed again over the water. But this time, it was not Peter. It was Hook himself. He was swimming toward the pirate's ship as he climbed aboard. The glow of the pirate's lantern lit his face. Wendy shuddered at the sight of his evil face. Hook seated himself at the back of the tiny craft with a heavy sigh. "Is something wrong, Captain?" Smee asked. "The game is up," Hook groaned, "The lost boys have found a mother." The pirates groaned, too. "Oh, bad day," Starkey moaned. Wendy was filled with pride. She knew the pirates meant her. "What's a mother?" Smee asked. "He doesn't know," Wendy gasped. At once she knew that simple Smee would be her favorite pirate, if ever there could be such a thing. Peter quickly pulled her under the water before she could say any more. "What was that?" Hook bellowed. He held the lantern to light the dark waters around the boat. The dim beam caught a straight sight. A never bird floated by sitting on its nest. That is a mother," Hook exclaimed. "You see, its nest fell into the water, but she would not think to abandon her eggs." That was an odd catch in Hook's voice, as if some memory of his own struggle to reach the surface. He brushed it away with a sweep of his iron hook. Smee gazed at the drifting bird on her nest as it passed by. "I have an idea, Captain," he said eagerly. "We can kidnap the boy's mother and make her our mother." "A splendid idea," Hook replied. Began to think. He rubbed his long chin with his hook. "We will seize the children and carry them to our boat. I will make the boys walk the plank, and she shall be our mother." And Wendy had bobbed to the surface when she heard the Hook's evil plan. She gasped. "Never!" she cried. Luckily the pirates did not see or hear her. The pirates swore to carry out Hook's dreadful plan. Then, as if remembering, sometimes Hook looked around. "The boat, where is Tiger Lily?" he roared. "We let her go, Captain," Smee said. "It was your orders." "Let her go," Hook cried. "I gave no such order," he said, with a shiver in his voice. He looked into the gloomy lagoon. "There are spirits that haunt this place," he whispered. All the word spirits Smee and Starkey wrapped their arms around one another in fear. Hook put his good hand to his mouth. "I know you are there," he said. "Do you hear me?" "Who are you?" Hook called out. "I am Captain Hook, the captain of the Jolly Roger," Peter said. Hook shook his head in disbelief. "But I am Captain Hook," he said. "No," Peter said with a grin, "I am Hook, and you are a codfish." Smee and Starkey glanced at one another. Could it be they are commanded by a codfish? They wondered. Hook worried that he would lose his authority over his men. He shouted into the darkness again. "Do you have another name?" he asked, hoping to trick the strange voice into revealing his identity. "Yes," Peter said, "but you must guess it." They put their heads together to come up with nothing. "We give up," Hook shouted. "I am Peter Pan." Peter shouted gleefully. "Now we have him," Hook said, once more in full command of his men. After him, men," he ordered. The pirates drew their swords. Peter cupped his hands to his mouth. "Come fly with me. Come fight them boys," he called, and from all over the lagoon, the voices of the boys, each saying, "Aye, aye." The pirates and boys met in a fierce battle. John was in the midst of it, brandishing, I don't know what that word is, brandishing a cutlass he tore from a pirate's grasp. The battle was short. Hook held off. The circle was attacking the boys with his glistening iron hook. They backed away, fearing for their lives. The ship drifted away, but Peter was not afraid to meet Hook. He climbed atop the rock as Hook joined him from the opposite side. Peter snatched a knife from Hook's belt. He was ready to use it when he saw. Oh my goodness. I know it's scary and haunting. That he was higher on the rock than Hook. Since that made an unfair fight, Peter put out his hand to help Hook to the top. At that moment, Hook struck. He clawed Peter twice with his hook. Peter fell, stunned by the blows, but even more so by Hook's dishonesty. He leaped into the water with the other pirates. They swam for their lives in the direction of the Jolly Roger. Right behind them was the crocodile, gnashing with silver, sharp teeth. The boys looked everywhere for Peter and Wendy, but both had vanished. They got into the pirates' ship and rowed toward home. Their shouts of Peter, Wendy, went unanswered, except for the mocking laughter of the mermaids. The boys weren't too worried. They were sure Peter and Wendy were swimming or flying home. They hurried so they wouldn't be late for bed. Soon after the ship was gone, two feeble cries drifted over the lagoon. Help! Help! Wendy and Peter lay up on the top of the rock. Peter was wounded, and Wendy was tired and weak. A mermaid tried to pull Wendy into the water, but Peter pulled her back to safety. We have to get off this rock, Peter said. The tide is rising. Soon we will be covered. I am too tired to swim or to fly home, Wendy said weakly, and I don't have the strength to carry both of us, Peter moaned. But we will drown, Wendy said. They put their hands over their eyes to shut out the horrible thought. Something touched Peter's cheek. He opened his eyes. A kite covered over the rock. Its long tail had brushed Peter's face. Michael's kite, Peter exclaimed. He lost it the other day, but here it is. He pulled the kite toward him. We shall use it to carry us home. Wendy shook her head sadly. It can't carry two, she said. Michael and Curly already tried. Then it will take you to safety, Peter said. He tied Wendy to the kite and pushed her off the rock. She was pulled into the air and soon out of sight. Peter was alone. The rising water tapped at his toes, ready to claim him. Far off, the mermaids sang, with their doleful song to the moon. Peter stood. He was afraid. Then a faint smile crossed his lips, and he heard a drum beating within him. It was saying, to die will be an awfully big adventure. My goodness, Izzy. And that was chapter 7 of Peter Pan. Next week we'll read chapter 8. Just a moment. Now we are reading Frog and Toad. This chapter is called The Letter. Toad was sitting on his front porch. Frog came along and said, "What is the matter, Toad? You are looking sad." "Yes," said Toad, "this is my sad time of day. It is the time when I wait for the mail to come. It always makes me very unhappy. Why is that? Asked Frog. Because I never get any mail. Then Frog said, I have to go home now, Toad. There is something I must do. Frog hurried home. He found a pencil and a piece of paper. He wrote on the paper. He put the paper in an envelope. On the envelope, he wrote a letter for Toad. Frog ran out of his house. He saw a snail that he knew. Snail, said Frog, please take this letter to Toad's house and put it in the mailbox. Sure, said Snail, right away. Then Frog said, Then Frog ran back to Toad's house. Toad was in bed, taking a nap. Toad, said Frog, I think you should get up and wait for the mail some more. No, said Toad, I'm tired of waiting for the mail. Frog looked out the window at Toad's mailbox. Then Snail was not there yet. Toad, said Frog, you never know when someone may send you a letter. No, said Toad. I do not think anyone will ever send me a letter. Frog looked out of the window. The snail was not there yet. But Toad, said Frog, someone may send you a letter today. Don't be silly, said Toad. No one has ever sent me a letter before, and no one will send me a letter today. Frog looked out of the window. The snail was still not there. Frog, why do you keep looking out of the window? Asked Toad. Because now I am waiting for the mail, said Frog. But there will not be any, said Toad. Oh, yes, there will, said Frog, because I have sent you a letter. You have? Said Toad. What did you write in the letter? Frog said, I wrote, Dear Toad, I am glad you are my best friend. You are your best friend, Frog. Oh, Toad said, that makes a very good letter. Then Frog said Toad went out onto the front porch and wait for the mail. They sat there feeling happy together. Frog and Toad waited a long time. 4 days later, the snail got to Toad's house and gave him the letter from Frog. Toad was very pleased to have it. And that was the end of Frog and Toad, guys. We finished the book. And now we're going to pause you and I'm going to get one more book and then we'll be done. Okay, guys. I actually went to the library yesterday and I actually got another book. So, this one's called Lola Plants a Garden. So, here we go. Mary, Mary, white and cherry, how does your garden grow? With silver bells and cockle shells and pretty maids all in a row. Lola loves her book of garden poems. Her favorite poem is the one about Mary, Mary. Lola wants to plant a garden. Mommy says there is room near the vegetables. Just a moment, guys. Lola gets a book about gardens from the library. She chooses her favorite flowers from the books. Mommy makes a list. They go to the garden store to buy seeds. Lola and Mommy make the garden. The seed packets mark where the flowers are planted. Lola will have to wait for a long time for them to grow. Lola makes her own flower book while she waits. Mommy types the Mary Mary poem and Lola glues it in. Lola makes a string of bells. She finds shells and some old beads. She even makes a little Mary Mary. One day Lola sees tiny green shoots. She pulls up weeds so the shoots can grow. Lola's flowers grow up bigger. They open up to the sun. Daddy helped Lola hang her shiny bells. Lola finds Mary a special spot. It's just perfect. Orla, Ben, and Thank you are coming. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Orla, Ben, and Ty are coming to see Lola's garden. Lola and Mommy make cupcakes. Lola wears her flower shirt. Mommy helps Lola with her hair. Lola's friends love everything about her garden. They share the crunchy peas and sweet strawberries that Mommy grew. Then Lola makes up a story about Mary Mary. What kind of garden will Lola plant next? Lola, Lola, extraordinary, how does your garden grow? With flowers, seeds, and shells and beads, and happy friends all in a row. And that was Lola Plants a Garden. Thank you all for joining us tonight for this late story time. And I think Izzy is about time to go to bed. I think her tired. Her had a big day. But her is so precious. And I wanted to let y'all know that next week there will be no story time. Because my son is coming to spend a couple of days with us. So I won't be able to do a video. So also, I wanted to touch on something. I'll do that in another video. So y'all have a wonderful, blessed week. Stay safe Be blessed. Love the ones around you. And hug and kiss those babies. Y'all have a great week. Not just a good week. Much love. Bye-bye. That beautiful face. Bye-bye, guys.